service ace opportunities.
Riley Ruffley kicks this off on her way. Moving around W&J, working quick offensively, and some miscommunication that we alluded to before between Howe and Ruffley is the cause of what W&J will get to start off with their 1-0 lead over the Yellow Jackets.
And going for kills, Brielle Morehouse, 583 assists. She's going to be the woman who's getting a lot of assists tonight for the Presidents up front.
Sydney Allen kicks off the next part here as Cree's going to set it up over to Ruffley. Spozarski with a light low tap, a dig and saving play there. He's going to go to Faith Fetzko. Unfortunately, though, it's going to roll too much over to the scores table, and we are all tied up at 1 apiece, respectively, as Emily Stutzman comes out. Talk about service aces. Stutzman, 5th in the PAC currently in service aces in favor for Waynesburg, as she'll get another chance here in this one in the opposite direction. The arrows that you were alluding to earlier by Waynesburg here. It's now 2-1 Presidents. Back to serve will be number 6. Gabby Leadbitter. Leadbitter serves it over. Stutzman, first touch. Ruffley back to Spozarski. That's a dig and a saving play for W&J. Unfortunately, though, the unfortunate rule is going to be if the ball touches the rafters, that means the play still plays on. W&J unable to rally back and collect offensively. It's now tied back up once again at 2. Audrey Worknow kicks us off once again with the serve for Waynesburg. First touch by Allen. W&J going for a kill. It's going to be set up by Work. Stutzman, Ruffley gets it back over. W&J, again, wasting no time. Going to go for a more formal kill here. This one is going to stay and get the kill. Faith Fetzko responsible for that kill. It's now 3-2 W&J.
Looked like that just went off the fingertip up front of Spozarski, trying to get a block there for Waynesburg. Even though it landed out of bounds, it caught her fingertip, so that's why the point goes to the Presidents. But Fetzko, the leading kill getter on this Presidents team. We're going to be saying her name a lot tonight.
We see Jana McWilliams, the libero now for Waynesburg, is now Larissa Howes credited with the kill. She put a lot of authority into that slam. W&J's offense couldn't rally in front of the net on that center line. So we are tied for the 3rd straight time in our first set at 3 apiece, and Christina Spozarski enters to now serve. As that one's not even clear over the center line again, and for the second point of W&J's 4, it'll be handed to it by a Waynesburg error. Now W&J leads 4-3. Few substitutions going on for W&J, including we're going to see Bella Anzavino come in for W&J, and she'll serve for the Presidents. Anzavino with a few dribbles takes a running serve. First touch by McWilliams. Ruffley goes to set up Howe, and Howe, there it is, with a glancing tip off the net, collects the kill. We are tied for the 4th time at 4 apiece. Now Paige Mortimer and Mallory Boyd are set to enter in for Larissa Howe and Emily Stutzman.
And even though it's really early in the first set in a best-of-5, it's really encouraging to see the energy Waynesburg has come out to start with. 0-10 in conference play, but they're playing with a lot of fire. You'd think that they're 10-0.
Mortimer sends it over. Presidents will take their time. And a kill that just misses outside on the near sidelines. Lola Jacobs with the kill attempt, unsuccessful. Now Waynesburg has its first lead. It's 5-4 Jackets.
Yeah, just a little too much there from Lola Jacobs.
There Mortimer gets it over. It's going to be first touched by Stossel, as this is going to leak through the Great Wall of Woo. There was Spozarski and Ruffley, but W&J is able to get one through on the Waynesburg defense, and we are now tied for our 5th time at 5-5. As onto the floor, Faith Fetzko back to serve. 5'10" senior gets it over. Somehow kept alive by a diving Mortimer. Now W&J will set for a kill. That one's a high loafing shot. Presidents wish to get back. Boyd with the kill. Dig by the Presidents. The rollover, and again, there Riley Ruffley able to be aware, and Boyd sets it over. Back and forth action here as a Great Wall of Woo stands tall. And unfortunately, it's going to go out the near sideline, so it won't land in play for Waynesburg. But something you like to see so far from the Jackets was quick responses by the Presidents.
Yeah, that was just a really good sequence overall by the Jackets. Obviously not able to get to the point, but again, really good return, multiple returns against the Presidents, who had really multiple good kill opportunities.
Spozarski finds just a dead land and a dead zone for the W&J defense, and gets the 6th tie now as the back and forth action continues to teeter on. And Macy Cree, that senior libero we had mentioned earlier, steps onto the floor now to start the serving once more. W&J rattling around as the kill attempt is going to be successful. Give it to Anna Watson. 5'7" sophomore from Spring Grove, PA, with an authoritative slam.
They actually changed that call last second. They said that it went out on the side there, so point Waynesburg just a little too much on the far side of the court.
Macy Cree gives it over once more. Rattling around, and you'll see Dagan this time go for the kill, but now Ruffley's going to go far side, set up Mallory Boyd. It's going to be tipped off a few presidents. They'll have to work again. Dagan again. This one lands in. Paige Mortimer wanting that one back. Mortimer believed it was going to go out the far baseline. She played it safe, and instead W&J has tied it up at 7-all.
Such a tough call back there. Judgment call there for Mortimer. Decided to take the risk that it might go out on that back line there, that it was too tough to go after with it being that close. Judgment call just doesn't go Waynesburg's way, but again, like you said, I'm sure Mortimer wants that one back.
Kill attempt by Audrey Work unsuccessful, but now Ruffley will set it up back for Mortimer, and Boyd will send it over as that will find its way on the far baseline for Mallory Boyd, and she allows Waynesburg to have its third lead of the night, 8-7. The Jackets lead over the Presidents now. Riley Ruffley back again. She'll serve for the second time in this first set. First going to be touched by McFarland. Rattled around. Dagan, the kill attempt unsuccessful. Cree will go set up Zadrozny with a light tap, but W&J Ware once more. Dagan, kill attempt goes far side. That's out on the far sideline, and now Waynesburg finds its largest lead of the first set, 9-7.
I don't know Waynesburg gets the point there, but Faith Fetzko, smart play. She was ready for both the thunderous swing of the arm from Zadrozny, but she was also ready for that soft little love tap over the net that Zadrozny likes to do sometimes to switch up the pace.
There's Mortimer makes a diving play to keep alive, and so will Mallory Boyd. Now W&J will reset as a little psych out, but there's Zadrozny to be aware of it, going far side to Mallory Boyd, and a diving save by the Presidents once more. You've seen that a few different times in Waynesburg's response. Macy Cree gives it to Ruffley, Ruffley to Mortimer. This one goes right to Anzavino, as now W&J works quickly again. Cree sets up. Ruffley, however, will have an offensive violation against W&J. So the point goes to Waynesburg, and Waynesburg has now a 3-point lead, 10-7.
And you hope for Waynesburg that this is the first 3 points in a row either team has gotten this entire opening set. You hope that they can continue to build on, make this 5-6 consecutive points, and start to create some distance in this opening set.
Exactly. Good, well set up from Mortimer. Ruffley goes to Boyd again. There's W&J's blocks coming in handy. However, now Cree's going to be tasked with getting over, and she will. W&J now looks for a response. Dagan's going to be blocked by Work, who steps back for Ruffley. Now to Zadrozny. There's McFarland. She'll go up and set up her teammates as a diving Cree tries to keep it alive. However, an unfortunate bouncing glance off her hands gives W&J breaking that 3-0 run Waynesburg was on, and now it is 10-8 with the Presidents with the opportunity to serve.
Audrey Work really going to work on that front line for Waynesburg. Multiple instances where she kept the point alive, but in the end, that front line, Fetzko and Dagan, they're really going to get theirs at one point or another, especially if they had as many opportunities as they did in that exchange.
Sydney Allen back to serve. She'll do it. Mortimer gets the first touch. Ruffley goes over to Zadrozny, and there's another block by W&J. Mortimer gets it back. Ruffley will have to get over, and she does just that. There's Allen once more with the kill attempt by Stossel is unsuccessful. Ruffley, Work. Dig by McFarland. Now going over, it will be Fetzko with the kill, but Waynesburg keeps it alive. Cree works in front of her to Zadrozny. That totes the line, and Waynesburg's able to regather once again. Mortimer, kill attempt. Kept alive by Morehouse. McFarland. There's a straight kill, unsuccessful for Fetzko with the help of the great Walla Woo and some defensive work by the net. It's 11-8, Waynesburg back in front by 3 as Larissa Howe and Emily Stutzman will re-enter for Mallory Boyd and Paige Mortimer.
And once again, it's Audrey Work up front that's doing really well coming into the game a couple of points ago. Christina Zadrozny helping her out, but just really good work from Audrey Work.
We saw McFarland set someone up on W&J, unfortunately unable to capitalize on the offensive attack. And speaking offensive attack, Larissa Howe. You've seen it once, you've seen it twice, you'll see it the rest of the night. Her ability to work quickly offensively is there. We'll have a timeout by W&J to pause it. 12-8 is your lead going into the first timeout here in set number 1.
And Larissa Howe just putting a bunch of frustration, maybe some power behind that one. Not much of a chance at all for the libero McFarland to dig that one out. And just really good work from Waynesburg. 12-8, they're up 4. Again, this is a chance to create some separation as Waynesburg half a point away from being halfway. Obviously 12.5 is half of 25, but they're about halfway there to getting the 25 that they need as we can once again get a look at the Audrey Work block up front. Again, really good work on the front line by Audrey Work. Wonder if she's earned some more playing time moving forward, but that Howe kill, just a lot of frustration you imagine from an 0-10 team right now. You get the rivals in Washington and Jefferson. They're second in the South Division, a chance to ruin their season or at least put a wrench into things. There's a lot of energy on this Waynesburg team. You wouldn't think that this is an 0-10 team playing right now with the energy they have now. The question is, can they keep it up if Washington and Jefferson gets on a run? More of a question of when Washington and Jefferson gets on that run as opposed to if. But when they get there, can they keep this energy up? Can they keep this level of play up as we get deeper into this match?
And it flies over. Stutzman is not going to have, she's going to want that one back, rather, as that will not be a service ace in favor for Waynesburg. Is another error, and it's now 12-9. Presidents are down only 3 again. Cutting into the lead, we talked about it, the ability of W&J. They're going to work it back in, but can Waynesburg hold on to the lead? As now Cree gets first touch over to Roofley. Larissa Howe, there it is. The block not enough. 13-9, Waynesburg leads. Larissa Howe listed as a graduate student because she graduated, but she still has 2 years of eligibility left. She said, she talked earlier about how she's excited to be able to come back with this Waynesburg team and the ability this Waynesburg team does have, as Audrey Work kicks us off once again as Morehouse works far over to her teammate Stella Stossel. That one's not going to get over the center line, and Waynesburg extended now 14-9 is their lead as Audrey Work back again to serve. Larissa Howe has 3 kills on the day now as W&J with Morehouse back over to Fetzko. The block by Work is successful. Stutzman digs is not. That one's going to rifle down underneath as W&J now back down to just 4. It's 14-10 here in our first set. Now going running back will be Jordan Sirianni, and if you hear the name Sirianni, yes, there is relation to the famous Siriannis. We're going to get back into it. Emily Stutzman, her attempted setup off the net. It's going to work off a few little ricochets, and Larissa Howe got it over for the Yellow Jackets. A diving Jada McWilliams keeps it alive as Riley Roofley sends it over. It's going to be a Morehouse kill attempt by Fetzko, unsuccessful, but Waynesburg again ready to rally. Zadrazi kill. What a play by McFarland to keep it alive. Working over back to Fetzko, but Waynesburg again settles things down. Larissa Howe tries a kill attempt off of a few glancing fingertips. W&J gets it over. Fetzko's kill is unsuccessful. Great Wallawoo. You hear the murmurs through the crowd in a 5-point lead for the Jackets.
And how about that exchange? Multiple thunderous kill attempts from both sides, but in the end, it's the block up front. Once again, Madison Zarowski, who's earned herself some playing opportunities tonight, as Coach Hope Johnston said when we talked to her pregame.
Zadrazi fed it to Howe. However, this time Howe will not get the lucky kill that she's been having on so far with her kill streak. 15-11 is your score now. W&J back within 4 once more. See, this is the 3rd time W&J's worked it back within 4. Waynesburg looking to snap a 350-day losing streak against PAC opponents, but also a 6-game current losing streak for their season. Serving it is Anzanello. As now we have Jada McWilliams going off to Emily Stutzman. And Anzavino will not be able to collect it and dig for her team. 16-11 is your score.
Just an awkward play there for Anzavino that didn't really get a square hit on the ball there, and it ends up going off that side of her right arm, and no chance for any other president to get to it to keep that point alive. And once again, it's a 5-point lead for Waynesburg.
Mortimer served to start us off for this next part. Callie Dagan got it back over for W&J. Mallory Boyd's kill attempt is going to have a little too much on it, rather, and it's now a 4-point lead again. 16-12, W&J still finds itself down. McFarland will sub out, and coming on will be number 23, Lola Jacobs.
And if you look at most of the points Washington and Jefferson has gotten, especially since they got to 7 and then Waynesburg went on their run, a service error, a couple of hits that go too far, and now another hit that goes too far. That's 4 points that Waynesburg has really gifted the Presidents here. It's still up by 3. That tells you how well they've played, but once again, some of the self-inflicted wounds coming back to haunt the Jackets.
Jacobs served, got the point, so Jacobs will go back to serve again. And a good read by Jana McWilliams to allow that to go out the back baseline to allow Waynesburg to go up 4 again, as now it's a 17-13 lead. In case you're new to the program, it's first to 25 or win by 2. That's how every set works. However, if we would get to a 5th set, the first to 15 win by 2. Is now Macy Cree serves and WJ looks to attack. Audrey works at the center line to tip things up and slow things down, and she'll get it over for the Presidents. A diving McWilliams keeps things alive for the Presidents, and a diving Mallory Boyd keeps things alive for the Jackets. Spozarski's kill attempt unsuccessful. WJ batters it around, and now it's Cree. Ruefley. Boyd kept alive by Anzavino. Diving play by 3 Jackets, unsuccessful. More of a Bermuda Triangle effect there, as it was Cree, Mortimer, and Ruefley all unable to collect. 17-14 is now your score. And back will be Brielle Morehouse, the junior setter and defensive specialist out of East Liberty, Ohio, serving. Spozarski's high soaring setup goes to Ruefley, then to work, but WJ keeps it alive. Killing will be Dagan, and that's going to slide through Macy Cree. She tried to fall down for the dig, but unsuccessful. Now WJ works within 2 with a 17-15 score.
And this was my point earlier in the set. Here come the Presidents on a bit of a run right now. They pulled themselves to within 2. Can the Jackets get that energy we saw back earlier when they were up 16-11 earlier in this set?
Mallory Boyd looked like she was going to put more on the kill, but it kind of worked in her favor. She got underneath it. 18-15 is the score, with Mallory Boyd getting the point, and now Relly Ruefley for the 3rd time in his first set will serve. Yellow Jackets looking for their first set victory in 4 games against the Presidents. As we'll see McFarland set things up with the Great Wall of Woo standing tall. That belongs to Mallory Boyd and Audrey work in front. Great work by those middle blockers to get it down and work in front and collect another point for Waynesburg.
And once again, you see Audrey work up front, square hands on it, and it's a block for a point by Waynesburg, but Washington Jefferson is going to get one back on a service error.
Now it is 19-16. W&J collected a point, cutting off the run for Waynesburg. So W&J back within 3. And McFarland, and we'll have to see who else subbed on. That will be Sydney Allen as well, substituting in for the Presidents, and Allen will be responsible to serve. Largest lead of the night has been 4 for Waynesburg. No one's led by more than 4 points, as this is going to glance off the net in favor of the Presidents. Reminder, if it glances off the net and lands into your opponent's territory, that does still count. However, falls in yours, works against you, but it's working in favor for Allen and company, as now 19-17 is the score. Now Sydney Allen gets a few dribbles in before she serves and kicks us back off here in set number 1. First touch by Mortimer. Ruefley sets up Spozarski, but W&J there working effectively. That one belongs to Faith Fetzko and Abby Oldham. Working in front, quick response. However, it's going to be changed to a Waynesburg point, 20-17, as it landed outside of the near sideline.
Yeah, they just missed keeping it in that sideline right there, but I'll tell you what, that front line, Oldham and Fetzko, they had that one timed up, just couldn't get a square hit to keep it in play.
Kill attempt is going to rattle through Fetzko. She'll collect that one as it slides through Waynesburg's defense, blocking there in front. You saw Audrey work and Christina Spozarski try to work in front. Didn't work that time, but now for W&J, Gabby Ledbetter will get to kicking us off again. Good read by Macy Cree as that one falls out the far baseline, and Waynesburg back up 3, 21-18.
And we're going back into that back and forth, point for point. Maybe some team gets 2 points in a row and then they give it back, that we saw up until about 8 points, apiece for each of these teams. And for Waynesburg, that's the game you want to play. They get another one right there. You're up by 3 now, 4. Just play 1 for 1 and you're going to end up getting this first set victory. They're 3 points away.
McFarland had the first touch and then attempted to get it over, and that was unsuccessful. So Waynesburg back within 4, and now we're going to see another W&J timeout. Lindsay Luann trying to settle her team down as she's used both of her timeouts here in the first set. Waynesburg still has both of their timeouts to their advantage. But for Lindsay Luann, she's 52-49 overall, 21-19 in the PAC. The keynote there is the last 3 seasons, it's been 6-4 conference competition for W&J, along with back-to-back PAC playoff appearances for the Presidents. And introducing Hope Johnson for Waynesburg, whose record sits at 9-35 overall, 3-17 in conference play. It will be Hope Johnson who will be in charge of helping get the team back into the swing of things. She acknowledged that the team wants to win bad, they need a win. She acknowledged that, but she also understands that a part of the game is still, again, playing for your school, playing with dignity, and still trying to mess around and knock around some PAC playoff standings. As now we're back underway with the serve by, Audrey Work. It's going to work in favor for W&J as they were able to set up offensively and get it. Yet another kill. 22-19 is now your score.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked here if Washington and Jefferson gets another point where this late into the set, Hope Johnson has both of her timeouts. I wouldn't be surprised if she's getting ready to use one if the Presidents can get another point here.
Jordan Sirianni serves again. This one's first touched by Howe. Zadrazi gives it over to McWilliams. Now it's McFarland setting up on the far side. Great read by Zadrazi to keep the play alive. Roofley goes to Howe, but Howe got a little too far on top of that one with the top spin. It's now a 22-20 point lead. We've seen Waynesburg do this a numerous amount of times. Hit the 20-point mark and stall out throughout every set. Last set win was 6 games ago for the Yellow Jackets. They're going to look to reverse the curse tonight, but it's not going to start there as the clean block by Faith Fetzko gets W&J back within 1. It's 22-21 now. The Presidents closest as they've been, and now Hope Johnson will use the first of their 2 timeouts to bring her team together.
Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. Blocks are the big thing for Washington and Jefferson. Second in the conference, Waynesburg 10th in blocks allowed per game, or opponent blocks per game. It hadn't really been a big part of this opening set, but to get to point 21, all you need is 1 block for that to be the key factor in the set. Mentioned it, Coach Johnson's going to end up using one of her 2 timeouts as the Presidents pull back within a point. But Waynesburg, up until that last sequence, had combated the block game and really won the block game in this opening set. But now that we're at 22-21, the Presidents get that block to pull within a point in this opening set. All of a sudden, that goes out the window. The most important block is the only one that matters in the grand scheme of things, and that very well might be the most important one.
Lindsay Llewellyn had her team back out very quickly for W&J, while Waynesburg utilized a lot of that timeout to really recollect themselves as Larissa Howe gets the first touch for Waynesburg, and Jana McWilliams goes far side to Spozarski. Now W&J working quick offensively with a quick block in response by Waynesburg, and now Waynesburg sets it up again. It's Roofley with the kill attempt by Spozarski. It'll get over, but won't be a kill. Is now a nice setup by Stutzman. Works to Roofley to Howe with the glancing touch. There's the kill. Larissa Howe from the setup of Roofley and Stutzman, and Waynesburg within 2 of getting our first set win in 6 games.
Oh, that was desperately needed. That's what we saw in the middle of the set when Waynesburg went on that run to get up to a 16-11 lead at one point. Specifically, Howe bringing the thunder, and she brings it here when her team needs it the most.
Christina Zadrazi sets it off, and the Great Wallawoo shines through with Larissa Howe and Madison Spozarski getting back into things. 1 point away, the set point here for Waynesburg, 24-21 lead. Christina Zadrazi will have the opportunity to serve, as that one's going to fall out the far baseline, 24-22. W&J's patience showing through as McFarland will be substituted, or rather, excuse me, it will be Sydney Allen who's substituted out. McFarland will stay in. And now Faith Fetzko back to serve for the Presidents. Still a set point opportunity for Waynesburg. Waynesburg just needs 1 point, however, they can only allow 1 more before we have to work a little bit of some extra play as Howe's going to go for a kill, and it will be awarded. There it is. The kill shines through. Waynesburg gets the first set over W&J, 25-22. Your score through 1. And, I mean, at the end of the day, when it mattered most, Larissa Howe was the one to shine through for the Yellow Jackets.
Talk about the MVP of the set. Larissa Howe, multiple kills, had that block to get the 24th point, and here didn't hit that one as hard as she's hit it most of the day. Still put a little bit of juice behind it. It stays in, just finding open space in the floor to get the set win. And how about that to set the tone for the night? I'm sure Washington and Jefferson is a little bit stunned right now. They didn't think that they would lose a set. Waynesburg had been on a 6-game streak where they hadn't won a set, and they take the opening one against their rivals, the Presidents. That might be a bit of a wake-up call for Coach Llewellyn's squad, but how about that for just an energy, momentum booster, just to get a lot behind this Yellow Jacket team. There just hadn't been much there. You get some energy now with that opening set win. You're able to mitigate the blocks from Washington and Jefferson, which was the key factor coming into this game. Just overall a really, really encouraging opening set for Waynesburg, but obviously they got to get 2 more to take the match win, but it's important to get that first one, arguably the most important one.
Exactly. I mean, Waynesburg University so far this year, how the amount of times of blown chances shines almost as bright as the amount of times they've been swept. They've been swept 15 times this year, but overall, they've lost 17 sets by 3 points or less. And there it is right there. 15 all of last season is the number that was last year. But a key factor that we've talked about before, 14 new players are on this team, including 2 transfers and 12 freshmen brought in by Hope Johnston.